Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this video. The other night we had our annual meeting a lot later in the year than we would normally do, all due to COVID, of course. And we held it via Zoom, and we actually had an amazing turnout, a lot of people joining us. And since that meeting, a number of people have contacted me and said, did we record it, especially the bit where I review what we've been doing and talk about what we are going to be doing in the future, because they found that so positive. Well, we didn't record it, so what I've done is just put that last bit of the meeting together into this video, and so we can share it much more widely. So look, I hope that you will watch this, and that as you do so, you'll be encouraged, not only about what we have been doing, but even more so about what we will be doing as a church family together. So God bless you, and I really hope that this speaks to you in a really, really positive way. So I'd like to begin just by reading something which appeared on local Facebook just a week or two ago, around the time of the Scarecrow Festival. And this is what someone totally unsolicited wrote. I would just like to acknowledge all the wonderful efforts the Homebridge Church team have been making for our community. I loved seeing the remembrance posters around the village this morning. We've had scarecrows, daffodils for Mother's Day. There's a food bank collection at the church entrance. The virtual Homebridge Rural Christmas Fair is currently on. Litter picking, organised walking, helpline for those who need COVID support. And I'm sure I've probably missed something. These little acts are putting smiles on faces and keeping us all sane. Thank you to the Homebridge Church family. And the last few weeks we've been opening the church up for private prayer while we haven't been able to be open for collective worship. And just recently we had a couple of posts on social media from people who'd visited. And here's a couple of them here. Extremely grateful for the opportunity for private prayer, quiet time and reflection time at this lovely, warm and welcoming Homebridge Church, which also goes by the name of St David's. Much appreciated. And then we have another. Such a lovely church with good community spirit, which we all need in these present times, with peace and solitude and beauty. Thank you. So just two more examples of people from the local community appreciating what our church is doing at the moment. Way back in March, someone said, during this pandemic, we'll be defined by how we serve others, meaning the church. During this pandemic, the church will be defined by how we serve others. Now that was said by me in one of the first videos that I made at the end of March, and I think that has proven extremely true, as those couple of posts from social media make clear. Now, over this last 9 months, we could probably expect, or we would have probably expected, that things may not have been positive for us. But actually, they've been a really positive experience, despite the difficulties that people have been under and the pressure that some people have been under too. And whilst a lot of what we used to do is on hold at the moment, there have been loads of fruitful new things. Everything mentioned in that first Facebook post, go back to it if you've forgotten. The number of things there that just a person from the community has noticed that we as a church family have been doing. But what else have we been about over recent times? Well, we've introduced some online worship, which has been available every week, even in end of August and through September and October, when we were able to meet live, as it were, in the building. We've had Zoom worship with Thrive on a Sunday evening. And now that we have internet and streaming equipment, which we've received grants for, which has been wonderful, in church, we're able to stream live from the church building, and we're beginning doing that with Hineni on a Friday evening. We've been running online courses like the Bible course, and groups like Common Threads, which meet regularly in person, have been meeting online too. We've continued supporting the African projects, and we have trained CAP coaches to run 2 projects. One to help people who struggle with budgeting, just a 3-week course to help people budget and learn some skills, and the other continuing the work that we've been doing in the last 18 months or so with Fresh Start, which is a course which helps people to deal with life-controlling habits or addictions that they may have in all sorts of ways. We've now got 2 teams of people trained to run those, which we hope to be able to do very soon in 2021. One thing that we have been able to do is to develop some different expressions of worship, which is probably something that we can learn from for the future. We've offered 4 different styles of worship, if you like. We've got the online worship, which we've mentioned, that's been there every week from the back end of March, and will continue to be available into the future. We've no plans to stop that at any point at the moment. We've got the 9:15 service, communion service, which although we've not been able to run junior church groups for COVID reasons, we have been able to run that live between the lockdowns. Thrive is a discussion-based evening service on Zoom that Steve and Kathy and others have been running. That's been really fruitful and will continue to be. We've now got the recently started Hineni, which happens on a Friday evening at 6:30. We got that going just before this last lockdown, but we are streaming that at 6:30 on Friday evenings, and that's been much appreciated as well, run by Sue Clark and Michael too. We've also, in place of Worship Together, which we've not been able to run, we've begun Meshy Church, which we had a really good first session back at the beginning of November. Really positive experience for everyone involved, and we're hoping we can do that again in the beginning of December on the 6th, although of course government guidelines, we just don't know what the restrictions will be in place by then. But there are 4 distinct things going on there, catering for different people in different ways and at different times. That's possibly got something very important to tell us for the future. I just wanted to share something about how we want to build on the work that we've done over the last 8 or 9 months, and coming into the seasons of Advent and Christmas, that's a really good opportunity. We've decided this year to have an overall theme simply kindness. And the church will be open each day or each weekday and for a few hours. More details on the website about that. And people can come in and be quiet. There'll be a few prayer resources which people could engage with, or if they just want to sit, that's fine too. Also, this Advent, we're running an online course, Unexpected Jesus, just 4 sessions, helping us to get ready for the coming of Jesus at Christmas. That's also available as daily readings each day through Advent. And again, details on the website if you'd like to get hold of the book. And just let me know if you'd like to join in with the online course, and I'll send you a link for that. Something very exciting and new that we're doing, because we can't certainly have lots of people in the church building, if any, around Christmas time. We are taking the Christmas story out into the community with the Crib Trail Walk. This is an activity building on the Scarecrow Festival, there'll be a map with 6 key points to visit on it. Each of those 6 points will have a part of the Christmas story told, either in possibly some will be scarecrows and other displays around the area in Homebridge and Hinchliffe Mill, and possibly Home Village too. And each of those points, each of those displays will have a QR code. If you scan the QR code on your phone, it will take you directly to a video which we've made, which tells each part of the Christmas story. There are 6 different videos, each telling a different part of the story. They're only a minute or so long, and then you move on to the next part by following the map. And at the end of it, when you get to number 6, you'll end up back outside church for the final part of the story. That will be extended on Christmas Eve to the online crib service, which will tell the story and hopefully be a lot of fun too. We'll be making available very soon some home nativity sets that you can make at home. We'll send those out to anyone who wants one, and the idea is that the week before Christmas you can make those at home, colour them in, stand them up, get them ready, and then use them in the online service instead of moving children towards the front of church as we often do to form the Christmas scene. You can do it at home in front of your screen with that nativity set which you've made yourselves. We're going to hold a virtual Christingle this year too, and that's basically the idea is we're going to make Christingle sets with the orange and the candle and everything else available to people to pick up from church on certain dates and take those home. There'll be an online video of a short Christingle service that actually takes you through making a Christingle, and there's a couple of carols in there too and a little story. So that's something you can do. In fact, the whole community can do at home. Make a Christingle and join in whenever is a good time for you. That'll be going live somewhere around the second weekend in December. 2 more live or online services which we're going to be running. One will be a traditional carols and candlelight type service with readings and Christmas carols and so on. And that will be made available just a few days before Christmas on the 20th, Sunday the 20th. That will go live. So if you like those traditional carol services and maybe even lighting a candle at home to join in with part of that, then that could be for you. And something brand new, an online modern carol service, Christmas Unwrapped we're calling it, something quite different. I'm not going to tell you too much about it other than there's a few surprises in there. And that should be a really good experience for everyone too, that online modern carol service. So lots of things happening despite COVID, lots of positive things happening, lots of community things happening. And as we're doing this, we're going to be encouraging people to perform just simple acts of kindness around the community, perhaps out when they're on the crib trail walk, popping a card through someone's door, a Christmas card through someone's door, taking a few buns around that you've made for them, whatever it might be. There'll be lots of ideas going on Facebook and on the website and in other ways too, of ways you might like to join in as we seek for the whole community to be kind. Random acts of kindness, sometimes it's called. And then finally there, a question in red. How will we serve people in the new year? We think that after Christmas, whatever Christmas will look like for families this year, a lot of people, the January blues will be doubly difficult probably. So we're looking at ways of bringing hope and bringing some light into people's lives in what can often be a dark beginning to January. If you have any ideas, do let us know. We have a few already, but we'd love to build on those. How can we be a blessing to the local community this new year? And here now is just a preview of what our Christmas publicity will look like this year. We're hoping to start getting these out to people, out into the community the last weekend in November. So you can see from there this idea of a season of kindness, and those key 5 things that we are going to be offering for the community. Now, that's not to say that we won't be doing things live in church if for a small number of people, if restrictions do allow us to. But these are ways in which hopefully we can bring some light and some hope into people's lives, no matter what government restrictions may be in place as we journey through December, through Advent, towards Christmas. So look out for these coming through your door, and if you can help deliver to a street near you, just pop some through people's letterboxes. You know, one of these, people receiving one of these could make such a difference for someone who might be really finding life quite difficult just at the moment. Now, the reality is it's really hard to plan ahead at the moment. Any more than a week or two is very hard to plan for. So we need to be agile, we need to be ready to respond, we need to be flexible. But I think there are 3 questions for us over the coming months as a church family that we would do well to think about. And they are, what have we started to do, that's since the pandemic began, that we should continue to do into the future? What have we started that we should continue? What have we stopped doing? A lot of things we've been unable to do that we would normally. What have we stopped doing that we should restart? And are there any of those things that we shouldn't restart that might have come to a natural end, and which there are new things, more fruitful things that we can do of instead? And thirdly, a more general, wider question: how is God calling us to praise, nurture and serve in this new world which we live in and which is changing rapidly? How is God wanting us to be this community of hope and light and good news and kindness in the world? So those are 3 questions that I'm just putting out there, and I'd really be interested to hear anyone's response at any point to any of those 3 questions. So, you know, there really is a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be excited about, a lot to be positive about at the moment. And I hope just that watching this short video, you've realised, maybe some of you for the first time, just how active our church has been in the community, even more so than perhaps we normally are over this COVID pandemic. And I hope you can see that we're planning lots of other ways to engage and to serve our local community. That's what we're here for, to be good news for all those around us. And finally, here's a prayer which we prayed together at the end of the annual meeting, a prayer which I think says a lot about who it is that we are seeking to be, the kind of church family, the kind of community that we want to be and that we want to communicate to others. So, if you like, do join in with this prayer and pray it as often as you like to. Let's pray. We are not people of fear. We are people of courage. We are not people who protect our own safety. We are people who protect our neighbour's safety. We are not people of greed. We are people of generosity. We are your people, God, giving and loving, wherever we are, whatever it costs, for as long as it takes, wherever you call us. Amen.